In this video, I will demonstrate how to transfer a drawing from tracing paper to final paper. For this assignment, you will need tracing paper, a pencil, and final paper. Make sure your tracing paper is the same size as your final paper, as you see here. We're going to start with the tracing paper. On your tracing paper, I want you to draw your very best composition, like this. It's always a good idea to start on tracing paper because you can get all of your mistakes out on the tracing paper and erase as much as you need. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to transfer this drawing onto final paper. You'll notice that the top part has graphite on it. If I flip it over, the graphite is now pointed down. If I set this directly on my final paper, the graphite is touching the final paper, and I'll be able to easily transfer it by tracing over the lines on the back side. It'll transfer and push the graphite down onto the final paper. If you want your drawing to face the way you drew it though, what you'll need to do is you'll need to get graphite on the back side first. So what I'm going to do is on the back side of my drawing, I'm going to trace over all of my lines. I don't have to be very neat with this, but I need to make sure that I get graphite over all of the lines and I press hard. I also placed a piece of paper underneath my drawing because by pressing down on the back side, it is going to press the graphite on the other side down onto my desk. And so instead of having a mess, I'm just putting a piece of scratch paper underneath it so I don't have that problem later. Okay, so I traced everything. I'm going to lift it up and flip it around. And you can see that part of the drawing did show up on that scratch paper. Now I have graphite on both sides of the tracing paper. I'm going to take my drawing and I'm going to set it on the final paper. Now you'll notice that when I drew my sketch on the tracing paper, I didn't line it up very good. It wasn't the best composition, so I'm actually going to center the drawing on the final paper by kind of moving it around and making sure that the space between the drawing is equal on all sides. Now at this point, you could tape down the tracing paper so it doesn't move on you, or just hold it nice and still and you can go ahead and start tracing over your pencil lines again. Now that the graphite's on the back side, by pressing down on the top, it's going to push the graphite down onto the final paper. For this section, you do want to trace nice and neat. You want to make sure that you trace every single line and that you press down. All right, I've traced everything. I'm going to lift it up and see the big reveal. Ta-da! You can see that the drawing has been transferred down onto the final paper. Now there may be some areas that didn't transfer as neatly or as clearly, so feel free to go back in and add in any missing details as needed. I also lifted up my drawing so it would create a better composition, so I need to add a little bit more at the bottom for the leg. And just a little bit more details that just didn't show up as neatly as I would have liked. And that's how you start with tracing paper and transfer your final design onto final paper without a lot of mistakes and erasing on the final paper. Thanks for watching.